The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the busy downtown street as Jake Morrison wiped grease from his hands and looked up from the disabled car's engine. At 38, he had been running his small auto repair shop for 15 years, building a reputation for honest work and fair prices in a neighborhood where both were increasingly rare. The black sedan had rolled to a stop right in front of his shop 20 minutes ago, steam pouring from under the hood and a well-dressed, blonde woman in a navy business suit standing beside it, with her phone pressed to her ear. What had caught Jake's attention, however, was not the stranded motorist but the little girl with pigtails who sat in the passenger seat, her face pressed against the window, with the patient resignation of a child accustomed to disappointment. "Turn the radiator hose burst," Jake explained to the woman whose name he had learned was Catherine Wells. "It is a quick fix, maybe 20 minutes of work, but you will need to let the engine cool down first." Catherine checked her watch with obvious frustration. "How much will this cost? I have an important client meeting in an hour and I cannot afford to be late." Jake noticed the tension in her voice, the way she kept glancing at the little girl in the car and the worn edges of her expensive-looking briefcase that suggested someone working hard to maintain appearances. He had seen that look before, in the mirror during his own difficult years as a single father. "Tell you what," Jake said, surprising himself with the offer. "My daughter Emma is at her dance class and I was just waiting around anyway. Consider it a favor between parents." Catherine's eyebrows rose in surprise. "That is very kind, but I insist on paying you. I do not accept charity." "It is not charity," Jake replied with a gentle smile. "It is community. Besides, your daughter looks like she could use some air conditioning while we wait for the engine to cool." As Catherine considered his offer, the little girl climbed out of the car and approached them with the careful politeness of a child who had learned to be cautious around adults. "Mommy, is the car going to be okay?" she asked, slipping her small hand into Catherine's. "Yes, sweetheart, this nice man is going to fix it for us." Catherine's voice softened completely when she spoke to her daughter, revealing a warmth that her professional demeanor had hidden. "What is your name?" Jake asked, kneeling to the child's level. "Lily," she replied shyly. "I am 6 years old, and I like pink flowers." Jake smiled, thinking of his own 8-year-old daughter Emma, who had gone through a similar phase just 2 years earlier. "Well, Lily, would you like to see how a car engine works while we wait? I promise it is not scary." As Jake explained the simple mechanics of the radiator system in terms a 6-year-old could understand, Catherine found herself watching this stranger with growing amazement. Most people barely acknowledged Lily's existence, treating her as an inconvenience or an afterthought. Yet this mechanic spoke to her daughter with genuine interest and respect, as if her questions and observations mattered. "You are very good with children," Catherine observed as Jake began the repair work. "I have had practice," Jake replied, focused on the hose connection. "My daughter Emma keeps me on my toes. Being a single parent teaches you patience, pretty." Quickly, something in his tone made Catherine study his face more carefully. She saw the same combination of determination and exhaustion that she recognized in her own mirror each morning. The look of someone carrying more responsibility than one person should bear. "How long have you been on your own?" she asked quietly. 3 years, Jake answered. Emma's mother decided that being a parent was not the adventure she had signed up for. She moved to California to pursue her acting career and has not looked back. Catherine nodded with understanding. Lily's father left when she was 2. He said he felt trapped by family obligations and needed to find himself. Apparently, finding yourself is incompatible with changing diapers and paying child support. As they talked, Lily moved closer to Jake, fascinated by his patient explanations and gentle manner. When he handed her a clean rag and showed her how to help by wiping down the tools, her face lit up with the joy of being included rather than merely tolerated. "There we go," Jake announced as he secured the final connection. "Good as new. The engine should be cool enough to start in about 5 minutes. Catherine reached for her purse, but Jake held up a hand to stop her. "I meant what I said about this being a favor. Pay it forward when you get the chance." As they waited for the engine to cool, Lily tugged on Jake's shirt to get his attention. When he leaned down, she cupped her small hands around his ear and whispered something that made his eyes widen in surprise. "She is my mom," Lily had said so quietly that only Jake could hear. "And you are very nice to us. Maybe you could marry her, and then I would have a daddy who fixes cars and explains things to me." Jake straightened slowly, his face flushing as he met Catherine's curious gaze. "Everything all right?" she asked. "Your daughter is quite the philosopher," Jake managed, trying to cover his embarrassment while processing the innocent wisdom of a 6-year-old's solution to loneliness. As Catherine started the car and confirmed that it was running smoothly, she found herself reluctant to leave. There was something about this man's kindness, his easy way with Lily, and the genuine warmth in his eyes that made her feel safe in a way she had not experienced in years. "Mr. Morrison," she said, "I know this might seem forward, but would you and your daughter like to join Lily and me for dinner this weekend? I would like to properly thank you for your help. And I think Lily would enjoy meeting Emma." Jake's smile was immediate and genuine. "We would like that very much. Emma has been asking me when she might meet a friend who understands what it is like to have only one parent." As Catherine drove away with Lily chattering excitedly about the nice man who had fixed their car and taught her about engines, she realized that her daughter's innocent whisper might have been the wisest thing anyone had said to her in years. Sometimes the best things in life come not from careful planning or ambitious schemes, but from simple acts of kindness offered freely to strangers who turn out to be exactly what we have been looking for all along. And sometimes the smallest voices speak the deepest truths about what it means to build a family from the pieces of 2 broken hearts and the boundless hope of children who still believe in happy endings. 6 months later, as Jake and Catherine stood together watching Emma and Lily play in their backyard, they both agreed that Lily had been absolutely right. Some problems do have simple solutions, especially when viewed through the eyes of someone young enough to believe that love is the answer to almost everything.